Welcome back to the Deep Threats Podcast. We are here back live and in action. Sorry we weren't here on Sunday. Actually, I think I may have been a little hungover from Saturday. That's just me being honest with everybody out there. Having to watch the Ravens win a game is exhausting as a Browns fan. If you can't tell, we are Browns fans. I'm just colors here. Just throwing that one out there. As always, you have me, your host of the show, KJAM, and my wonderful co-host is also here as well. Wheels.
Hello. Right. We are moving on to the next round of the playoffs. We have the Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers and the Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry.
Oh, that was not non-intentional. You did that on purpose. I truly believe.
How'd you know?
Because they are the cheats. And by the way, everybody in the press is asking for that ref team to be investigated.
Did you see Tony Romo even call it out during the?
That just means they're going to fire Romo.
There was a third
they already wanted to fire him last year.
There was a third and long, and I think it was holding or illegal contact or something down the field, and they got a free first down.
It was a bad call.
It's always a bad call.
And I'm going to be honest, and it's not, see, here's the thing. It's not always a bad call, but when it changes the game, it's a bad call.
And that's my biggest gripe with the refs. Like, we've had this conversation how many times about it. My issue is, there's going to be bad calls, but when there's a bad call that can affect the game, that's where there needs to be some sort of repercussion. But let's not get into that today. Today, we're going to talk about the breaking news, I guess, is Jim Harbaugh is not taking that second interview with the Atlanta Falcons.
At this point, I think this solidifies him going to the Chargers. The Bolts. That's what it's going for on Twitter. That's exhausted. They're Chargers. Quit calling them by their logo.
Bolt up.
I don't call the Browns the Dogs.
No.
We're Dogs fans, but I don't call the Browns the Dogs. So just quit doing that. It's the Chargers, man. And so I like this move. I'm not opposed to this move. I will tell you, when it comes to this move in this situation, we had Wheels on the show. He called this one about, I think, right after the national championship game. He called this one. And then I went in and said, that's a good idea. I think that's a great place for him to land. Money matters. Player fit. He can go in. He already has a team. He doesn't have to do much because there's solid roster around him. There's not much you have to do in this situation. And then all he has to do is fix what needed to be fixed from the start, and that's the defense. The defense is what's needed to be fixed this entire time.
Oh, yeah, and we've seen him get the most out of quarterbacks in that with the 49ers. Between Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith, they have gotten, about as much as I could see them getting out of those quarterbacks at that time. With Justin Herbert, as I said before, there's a lot of untapped potential in my eyes that they have not yet gotten. And I think that with this draft, they're going to rebuild, and we'll talk about that today, possibly. But I think the best fit, like you said, is Jim Harbaugh. I'm not patting my back on saying that I called it, but it makes the most sense, though, doesn't it? When you really look at brass tacks, it makes the most sense.
I truly think you called this. You might have had some rumblings. You might have seen some things on the internet. But I truly think that you said this. This is it. This was a DeMeco Ryans for me last year.
Exactly. You called that. You called that what? A month
sometimes
ahead,
it fits when it fits.
Yeah.
Well, we were looking at coaching interviews and vacancies, and I was like, dude, DeMeco Houston, it fits. Everything about that was makes sense. They needed to fix the defense. The offense wasn't the issue. They got a guy going in there. You have ties to the city. Everything fit, and that's why everybody's like, oh, Jared Mayo, DeMeco Ryans 2.0, and I'm like, yeah, I got many things I can say on that. I don't think he's DeMeco Ryans 2.0 because, one, Gerard Mayo never left the Patriots, right?
And I think
he's actually sucked the teat of all the coaches ahead of him to get to where he is. I don't know if Gerard Mayo is capable of doing anything.
No, and I think the end team hire for them doesn't make much sense to me because there was better talent outside of the team. And it comes back to Robert Kraft for me, where he wants his hands, which they can do if you want it. I have no
I
problem.
don't think he wants his hands in the mix. I think that with Robert Kraft, he didn't have to worry about anything. He had Bill. Bill was the GM.
But now I think he wants kind of, I don't want to say a yes guy, but but a guy who, is kind of going to follow his demeanor.
Brought to you by YouTube ads. Just letting you all know this.
But let me ask you this.
You need to scoot in. It's driving me insane.
Sorry. So let me ask you this. So obviously, DeMeco Ryan made the playoffs his rookie year. The Colts nearly made the playoffs with Shane Steichen.
Well, yeah, the only reason they didn't make it was because of DeMeco Ryan.
Yeah, with and that head coaching.
I think they make it with Anthony Richardson, just an FYI.
Oh,
I think they hands down make it with Anthony Richardson.
So obviously, the Sean Payton didn't work out for them making the playoffs.
It was close.
Do you think that the Chargers are a playoff contender as soon as Harbaugh's hired? I do.
Here's what I think you're missing out on, okay? No. And the reason I say no, because in reality, somebody had to win the division in the South, right?
That's a good point.
Right? So, like...
It was kind of whoever...
None of those were wild card teams.
No.
Right? So, like...
No. I mean...
And that's kind of the same situation, I think, for Justin Herbert. Like... I think you have to win your division. Now, is there potential to win your division? Yes, based on what Chiefs did this past year.
At the least.
It's, again, the playoffs go through the AFC North, and I know a lot of people will say that's Browns fans.
And we're seeing it again.
It's not as Browns fans, it's the AFC North. If you look at what happened with Cincy, if you look at what's happened with the Steelers made the playoffs and they were on their third, fourth-string quarterback. The Browns made the playoffs and they were on their fourth-string quarterback. The Bengals just missed the playoffs and they were on their backup quarterback. And so you can't even argue that the AFC North is the best division in football right now.
And I'll be honest with the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you give me TJ Watt in that game, I don't think it's that far. I think it's a closer game.
Oh, I think they beat him last time with TJ Watt.
Even with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But, I mean, so Browns hirings, they hired Deuce Staley, who is a former...
Let's talk before we get to that. Let's talk about the head coach hirings, right? So as of right now, the Tennessee Titans are supposed to be hiring the offensive coordinator from the Cincinnati Bengals in Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
And love the fit. I actually think this is really good for that team. I think also it'll say something when we go into the mock draft later. I think this has a lot to say of what's going to happen in the mock draft. We don't think that the issue of the team as a whole was really the fact that they weren't a good team, right? The Titans weren't a bad team. They were coached very well. The problem was the A.J. Brown trade 2 years ago.
Yeah, whoever made that trade,
he got fired.
It was a GM, wasn't it? It wasn't
he got
Vrabel.
Fired. No, it was a GM. Vrabel was pissed.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, we've seen this before. One bad trade can just ruin your future, and we possibly have seen that with the Carolina Panthers.
I saw that tweet earlier today. I don't think that the Bears own the Panthers because of that trade.
They don't own them, but that was just a bad trade. You traded all of your talent. You traded McCaffrey. You traded DJ Moore. You traded who else did you trade?
I still think they had decent production with Adam Thielen.
Yes, but he's a 36-year-old. You have no... I don't know if he's 36, but...
He's 33.
33, sorry. But the problem is he has no future. You know what Adam...
He just got his AARP card in the mail. You know
what Adam Thielen is, let's be honest. We've seen what Adam Thielen has
He's
been
a number 2 great slot receiver. I don't disagree.
He had a great year, but...
He might be the Wes Welker of the NFL right now.
Guess that because he's white.
No, it's because he's a possession receiver who's really good at quick slants. Yeah. And that's what Wes Welker was.
And
that is so funny that people keep doing this to me because I do like white receivers, but I'm not a Thielen fan.
I know, but
I loved Wes Welker. I loved Wes Welker. I love
that you say he has good hands and he can make a good slam.
He's a chain mover.
Yeah, and guess what? That's exactly what he did with the Panthers. The issue with Bryce Young is you had no guy that you can for sure say, yeah, he's our over-the-top wide receiver.
I think the thought process was that if we bring in DJ Chark back, I think that he has that potential. He's 26, great route runner, good over the top. The problem is DJ Chark just can't stay on the field, and I'm a huge DJ Chark fan.
I loved him when he went with the Jags and Gardner Minshew.
Even when he went to Detroit, that's what they were missing in Detroit. He just can't stay on the field. And God, DJ Chark to me is Corey Davis to me. Like, both guys have great potential, and for some odd reason, playing ball is not number one priority for them at this point. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's off the field. They just don't look. I don't know.
They don't look engaged. Yeah. And I'm not. That's not a snub towards DJ Chark, but
or Corey Davis.
I mean, Corey Davis retired, so obviously
he retired at 26 because of whatever was going on the Jets. And to kudos to him for retiring in the year that Aaron Rodgers got injured. Like.
And he was he was a physical wide receiver when he played. I think he played at Western Michigan.
I'm not 100% sure. I know that he
played at Western Michigan.
I know that he was drafted, I want to say, in the Tennessee Titans, and then they traded him to the Jets. Or he was released and picked up by the Jets. I'm not sure.
I mean, just that goes back to the bad trades. Bad trades can ruin your franchise for years to come, and I think we saw that with the Panthers.
Well, I don't think it's a bad trade. That's a bad draft pick, right? So they traded for the first. They drafted Bryce Young, which we all said they should have drafted C.J. Stroud. But me and you have also argued that does C.J. Stroud do the same thing in that offense?
He doesn't. I'll be honest.
I don't know if he does.
He doesn't because he doesn't have as talented wide receivers. He doesn't have as talented
I think Thielen's better than Robert Woods, and I think Thielen played better than Nico Collins this year.
Yes, I'll take that.
No, I'm not saying that statistically. I'm just saying
field-wise, chain moving,
his breakaway, the fact that he was. I think C.J. Stroud.
I can attest to that. I have no problem with that.
I think C.J. Stroud could have done something there. Did he? No, because he's not there. And I think that the run game was better there.
Yeah, and
when Chuba and Miles Sanders, there was a lot more potential in that backfield.
Yeah, it's just another thing is some people are going to hate to hear this is. I think the dome benefits Stroud immensely, and people are going to come to realize this. I think the dome aspect of him playing in comfortable weather.
I still think being
7 times
being
a year.
An Ohio State quarterback, I don't think he played in a dome consistently, but I don't disagree with you that that's a huge benefit to Jared Goff.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Goff, we saw how he was in some weather.
By the way, greatest interview ever.
I love Jared Goff.
No, the head coach interview. Are you prepared? Dang. Yeah, are you prepared to go into
Oh no, you're talking about Todd Bowles.
Yeah, Todd Bowles, greatest coach interview ever.
Are you prepared to go into Detroit and
play in that negative 10-degree weather? Oh, they're in a dome.
Detroit's been in a dome for the last 40 years, lady.
Ever since you were allowed to build a dome in the NFL, Detroit's had a dome.
One of the first.
You could tell she's 20 and just got into media. It's
I would die.
Did you know?
If you could just say, "Hey, you get to go into this interview, any team," and you get to ask one question, I would love it. I would not have my question. Hey, are you comfortable playing in this?
We can just an FYI. The Dogs do that now. The Dogs podcast. Mm-hmm. They have a guy that goes in and asks questions at press conferences. That's why I would love to be there one day.
I would love to.
I would love to be there one day.
I
now,
don't know
granted,
how you get included press pass.
Oh, you have to pay for a press pass.
How much is a press pass?
I don't know, but you have to make money, and there's got to be credibility. Now, I don't know if we have to have a article side to get a press pass, but we could definitely get a press pass, or we could get a hold of somebody that has a press pass. But that's a long time coming. That's the goal. That is my goal. I would love to have groups of other podcasts that do this per city and have a press pass and have conversations with those people and make this some type of media conversation around the fan base side of the NFL.
I would love to do mock draft with other
not
shows.
The insiders side of the NFL, because I think the fan base side of the NFL has a lot more knowledge on what the team needs and what the team has been doing than I think these guys coming in that are 20 years old that are talking on these news broadcasts, who, by the way, have played the game but don't know the teams inside and out.
It's more swayed. Knowledge is power.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't. You got me off track. But okay. So
I do that.
Brian Callahan being hired to the Tennessee Titans. Apparently, he's being hired. They're in process of hiring him. It's a huge impact. Now, I will say that I think there's 5 coaching positions still out there available. You have the Washington Commanders. You have the
Atlanta Falcons,
Carolina Panthers. You have the Atlanta Falcons. You have the Chargers, and then you have the Seattle Seahawks and the Raiders.
Sorry, that was Las Vegas.
But I will say that I didn't include the Chargers because I think at this point it's looking like Harbaugh's the guy.
And it looks like Pierce is the guy for the Raiders, but
Antonio Pierce is also the guy for the Raiders. Good point.
If they make this mistake, as I said last time, they deserve what's coming to them.
No, I think they did hire him. No, I'm wrong. Antonio Pierce, I think, was hired as the head coach. I apologize.
If not,
no, I think he was. I think he was. Now the Chargers, I know, have interviewed their interim head coach, and they've also interviewed Kellen Moore as a head coach. So, and
I don't like it.
I don't like Kellen Moore moving up because the offense didn't perform.
The offense
with Kellen Moore.
The offense did worse this year.
I agree. Completely agree.
I understand that Mike Evans got hurt, but the thing is Keenan Allen was hurt all last year with a hamstring injury. He played games, but he was
played
not
all
healthy.
year this past year.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. No, I'm talking about like last. So
the year before.
Sorry, 2 seasons ago, Keenan Allen was hurt and Mike Williams played.
We will have that conversation. Just an FYI, when we talk about players that are teams that are not in the NFL anymore, it's last year. Just an FYI.
Yes.
Moving forward, we're talking about teams in 2024 season. The only teams that are left that is currently in the season, obviously, is Kansas City, the Ravens, Detroit, and
the Niners.
The Niners. Thank you. So that when we start talking about last year, that is the 2023 season at this point, and it's hard to pick that date when technically I could just do what the NFL does and say March 15th is last year. Everything
essentially when they lost. Team was no longer.
We probably should do that though. From March 15th on, it now becomes next year, and from March 15th but that would be hard for us because we're already talking draft, right?
We could easily do Super Bowl. That could be our cutoff. Like, hey, last
February 14th is. We could. Maybe we'll have to talk about that after. Anyways, I like Harbaugh, right? Yeah. Antonio Pierce. We like Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, I hope Bill goes to Atlanta. As much as I didn't like that hiring, the more I think about it, the more it fits the system and can fit that.
I think Bill will do the best thing for Atlanta, and I think those two things are, by the way, I wouldn't be shocked if Cliff interviewed as an OC over there when Bill takes the job. That would be awesome to have Cliff in that offense. Could you imagine Cliff with Drake London and Kyle Pitts? Come on.
He interviewed for the Chicago job?
He interviewed for the Steelers. Oh, he also interviewed for the OC of the Steelers, and I think there's rumors that he's interviewing for the OC of the Philly, too.
And then who just got interviewed for defensive coordinator? Vic Fangio. Sorry,
that was for Philly.
That was for Philly. Vic Fangio.
They parted ways from Miami. Yeah.
Which I really didn't understand because I feel like even though Miami really didn't play the greatest teams this year, I still feel like
kudos to Vic because outside of not having 2 studs for like half the season, right? Like
very good.
You still had a decent defense. The problem was you couldn't beat big teams, and I don't think that's Vic's fault.
No, and this is another ownership thing. I had this conversation with Brian Flores about it. I think Brian Flores got the bad end of the stick, and I think Vic Fangio did. They needed somebody to be held accountable.
Could you imagine if Brian Flores was there and they had a Mike McDaniels as an OC? That would be outstanding.
I like Brian Flores. I'm sorry. I would love him to be an OC.
If you're paying attention to the Carolina Panthers interviews, they're mainly interviewing offensive coordinators for head coach positions.
Which they should, because you just put how many draft picks into this quarterback, and your offense looked awful. Your defense did good.
Would you say
not great?
Would you three first? Would you say?
It was
because DJ Moore.
It was DJ Moore,
which we would consider probably a first-round prospect.
I think DJ Moore
point.
2 firsts and a second or a third.
Maybe it was only 2 firsts.
It might have been 2 firsts. I don't know. They gave too much.
And that we're not including the pick, by the way, because they picked him as a first. So technically, that's a first.
Yeah, that's first.
Yeah. So that would be.
Chicago got paid.
Dude, Chicago and Arizona capitalized in that last draft. I mean, Arizona has 2 picks coming in this draft. Now, granted, like you said, it's a late pick for Houston Texans, but Arizona has 2 picks in the first round, which is huge for them. And we'll get to that when we talk to our mock draft. By the way, I was playing with this a lot. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to do a mock because I posted a mock earlier that I saw, and we liked this mock. Mm-hmm. And I'm not opposed to it at all. But
you want to do the mock?
No. Any other coach hirings that we can?
Deuce Staley. That was about it.
We wanted to talk about.
We keep Brian. Yeah. So Brian Callahan was hired by the Tennessee Titans as.
And we strayed off from there. So our fear is now that his father, Bill Callahan, from the Cleveland Browns offensive line coach,
is gone.
Will leave the Cleveland Browns, and I'm gonna be honest.
It's a 98% chance he's leaving. Let's say 99.9. Okay, he's gone.
You could say that, but what if he can't what if him and his son don't get along?
Then that's a
on a
hey,
work
Dad,
basis.
and that's a conversation you're gonna have. You're gonna have that conversation because.
By the way, arguably the best offensive line coach in the NFL today is Bill Callahan, and he's selling auto parts.
Yes. That you can pick up in any of your major retailers.
Yeah, it's correct.
I am the smartest man alive.
I can sell you a guarantee.
I can sell you a guarantee. I can sell you a guarantee that shit in the box.
Oh God,
Right,
Tommy
so
Boy references.
The only other hiring that I've seen, and this was today, was like I said, Deuce Staley was hired as the running backs coach for the Browns. I don't know much about this guy. He was a former running backs coach for the Lions and last year for the Panthers. He was a previous player for the Eagles and Steelers. And that's about all I have on the guy. I have
Just an FYI,
heard of him. I don't know too much about
Ryan
him.
Williams, 5-star recruit, just committed to Alabama.
Quarterback.
No,
right?
wide receiver.
Okay.
That was a guy that I think people were talking to was going to come to Ohio State.
And again, so speaking of college prospects, you have probably two of the best, if not two of the probably highest going to be drafted wide receivers coming out of OSU and LSU. Are those now considered the best wide receiver colleges in the NFL that can recruit and develop talent?
I think, are we talking Neighbors?
Neighbors and
I think there's a lot to
Harrison.
be said. I like Neighbors.
I
but-
like Neighbors a lot.
But I'm gonna leave my comments reserved on Neighbors. For the
He's
time
three.
being.
He's three for me. So
I think that
he's three.
a lot of people have him super
I
high.
don't think people are gonna pick my guy who's two. And it's not the guy I talked about in chat this week.
I was trying to find.
You guys are going to be very surprised who I have it to. And I'm going to try to get better at wide receivers because I whiffed on my number one last year and it was god-awful, and that was Xavier Hutchinson.
Dude, Clint Kubiak is a possible interview for the Browns, who was Gary Kubiak's son.
For OC?
Mm-hmm. That's also Washington.
We also interviewed...
Oh, that's breaking.
What?
Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, will be the next head coach for Washington Commanders.
I like that. We
talked about that. We said that was very possible. So it looks like Ben Johnson is going. That's live on air, dude. That happened like
how long ago did that break?
2 hours ago.
Jesus, I didn't even see that. Jeez. Sorry, guys. It's been a busy day at work, so I wasn't able to.
That's per ML. So like obviously we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But
which I like that hiring a lot. I think Ben Johnson can kind of bring more of a, I don't want to say an air raid, but I think he can bring more of a high-flying offense to that team that, is mostly...
Great post. Deshaun Watson is still younger than Brandon Weeden when we drafted him.
Yeah, Brandon Weeden was 28 when we drafted him.
It's still a great post. He'll be 28 going into next year.
The fact we drafted that kid at 22.
28.
No.
In 22.
Pick 22.
Oh, yeah. We draft all of our quarterbacks in the 20s that are garbage.
I think it was 22. It's either 20 or 22. It's Manziel.
Yeah, we drafted them all in there, except for the one that's actually was in the playoffs. Genuine defensive player of the year, it's Myles Garrett.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to get off here. I was trying to do something else, and I
to the
got
show.
Zoned. I got zoned.
He's got ADHD. It's okay.
I do right now because there's too many windows on my damn page. All right. So we were talking about
Brian and Bill.
Yeah, and you were talking about that's what I was trying to look up was certain hirings for OC. I haven't seen much outside
Ken Dorsey has been interviewed for the Browns.
Just an FYI for all you guys out there who I've been chirping at the Philadelphia Eagles that when they lost Steichen and Josh Gannon, that they were going to fire their OC and their DC. And we talked about this constantly. That was the reason that team was garbage. And by the way, if Sirianni doesn't get it right this time, Sirianni's gone next year.
Well, I think Sirianni's the issue. And a lot of Philadelphia fans feel that too. If you
after seeing all the locker room conversations and after seeing his way and his reactions to fans, like, bro.
He's a
fan.
He's a gym bro. I hate to say it.
He's a fan.
He's a hothead.
He's a fan.
I don't want a hothead as a head coach. I need a level-headed guy.
I'm okay with a hothead as a head coach
But
on your team.
Not like that.
Like, go yell at your team. Why are you yelling at fans?
Ever since he yelled after they beat the Chiefs, it was just downhill. And I have a guy at work who is a huge Philly fan, and he wants to fire the whole front office, which I don't disagree with. I think Steichen and Nick Gannon made
you know what's funny?
Nick Sirianni, and the thing is if you can't correct after you leave, after your OCDC, I know they left in the same year. It's very hard to do.
That's tough. That's tough.
Which I get, but now you've had a year. Hey, this didn't work out. We need to get it right. If you don't, and like you said, if you don't get it right, then he's done.
I think he's done next year if they don't get it right this time. And we'll see. Vic Fangio on their defense would be
I hope so. As much as I hate Philly, that would be a good fit. If they don't hire Vic, then it's bad. You might as well. I don't see another guy that they could hire right now
that would take that talent to the next level. Jim Schwartz, but
Jim Schwartz.
I don't think he's leaving Cleveland based on what just happened. Also Dan Quinn, but I think Dan Quinn's not leaving Dallas unless he gets a head coaching opportunity.
No, Dan Quinn definitely wants to go back as a head coach. He's not going to go be a DC.
No, I'm saying he's not leaving Dallas unless he gets a head coach opportunity. Which, by the way, and I told Ryan this, he thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, Vrabel's not getting a head coach opportunity this year, and he's like, "You're crazy." I was like, "No, he's not."
I've been seeing reports where they said the best
DC.
thing for him was be DC or go away for a year and come back like Mike
Cliff.
No.
Go to college, dude. Could you imagine him?
I got the head coach for Dallas.
What if he went for Dallas? Oh yeah. I don't ever remember his name because you guys have to bring it up to me all the time in the chat. Mike.
Oh my God.
Not Schwartz.
He used to be on the Packers. The head coach.
I know. I don't know.
Wow.
Dallas's head coach. Name's escaping me. I just named all the offensive coordinators. God forgive me on a head coach. And there's like 19 Mikes. So like,
right, let's move on because it's gonna bother you. I can tell it's bothering you.
It's because we could easily look it up. That's why it's bothering me.
Mike, is it Mike?
Head coach, and I have no chat today to help me out.
Yeah, where's the chat?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. There we go. And that's what
I wanted to say McDaniels, and it's driving me insane.
McCarthy essentially kind of went away for a year, came back, and got the Dallas job.
But here's what I'll tell you: if Dan Quinn stays at DC. And they fire Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn moves up inside the ranks.
Agree with.
So, and I know it sounds crazy that I'm super confident about these statements, especially when I only hit like one with D'Amico Ryans, but there's certain things that just fit. And Dan Quinn staying in Dallas and moving up in Dallas just fits. I don't know why you wouldn't. And then you hire an OC.
I
also told Ryan
how about this?
That the kid in Houston won't get a job either.
How about this? Bill, Atlanta, hires Mike Vrabel, DC. I could see that all day. It fits.
I'm going to be honest. If I was Vrabel, I would hire Bill as my DC and then go get an OC. And then I would let Vrabel take the head coaching job because Vrabel has the longevity ahead of him.
But the
so you could build,
does
I get it.
Want to be
no.
DC?
But I'm just saying you could build something with Vrabel. What are you going to do? There's no way Bill's coaching for another 10 years.
But what I'm saying is you hire Bill as your head coach
and move up in the ranks.
And then he hires Vrabel. Vrabel is sitting there waiting. Hey, I know I'm going to get this job for like 3
I don't know
years.
if he's going to. I don't know if Vrabel wants to be overshadowed by Bill. By the way, I'm going to make sure I say this on air just so Ryan has a credit where credit is due. The Houston Texans offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, he says the best place for him to go as a head coach, and it would fit so well, and I don't disagree, is the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And him to take that offense with Pete Carroll tutelage, right? Because Pete Carroll's not the head coach, but he could give him some tutelage on how he ran the offense because he's part of the hiring capacity. Bobby Slowick to the Seattle Seahawks would be, one, everything he's done, it's produced.
And the Texans may lose their quarterback's coach because he also got is getting interviewed by the Browns.
As an OC?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Jared.
Gosh,
Jared Johnson.
Gerard Johnson.
Gerard Johnson,
I think.
Yes.
That's his name.
Touche. So there's 2 teams here, by the way, that are coming up that are going to struggle. Houston is going to struggle next year unless they find a way to promote from within. Because if they lose their offensive coordinator, their quarterback's coach, and they lose anybody else, they're not going to lose a DC because D'Amico Ryan's the DC.
Yeah, he's DCH head coach. Yeah. They could be in a similar situation.
And then the Ravens, right? Because they might lose their DC, and then there's rumors that Todd Monken might take a job somewhere.
I mean, and you got, like we said, there's 5 other teams or 4 other teams that have yet to hire.
Yeah, well, Washington just hired, so that's one. Gone.
Well, you got Carolina.
Carolina, and we already talked about Carolina. They're going to need an entire front office.
Like I said, I don't think anybody but a rookie head coach takes that.
And that would be that Bobby Slowick could go there. I just don't know. I don't know if they've interviewed.
I don't think he will. I think he's like, I have it better.
I'd like to see Vrabel go there because I think Vrabel's sturdy enough to where he's not going to be a pushover. He might get fired in 2 years, right? Like,
yeah, but the thing is Vrabel's not going to stand down against Tepper, and I love that.
That's what I'm saying.
Vrabel won't stand down. He's going to stand his ground.
He's going to do what he needs to do to run the team. Yeah, I agree. Now, you do go ahead and make your front office changes because they did that in Tennessee on him.
But I'm running the team how I
run it.
Yeah. Hired me, that's what I'm doing.
Yep. So I think Vrabel might be a good fit in Carolina. Maybe that's his best opportunity.
I don't think he fits Seattle.
No, I mean, he fits Seattle. I think they want an offensive-minded guy there because the defense is pretty good. I think they need an offensive-minded guy there.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying Atlanta. Atlanta has offensive rookies, so if they hired a good OC, they need that defense to stand out. They paid that defense. That's why I like a defensive style coach going there, even though I know they'll screw it up eventually. We'll move on from here because we're going to get into a quick mock draft. We're not going to talk about these teams this Sunday until later this week. So we're going to do a quick top 10 mock draft for all you guys out there. I know you might not like it, but hey, it's a way too early mock draft. This is for all you guys who are 'tis the season after your season ends in week 8, because that's how Browns fans usually feel. I mean, I know that the Carolina Panthers season ended week 5 when they were like Owen. So we're going to get into this, and we are going to have some fun doing our first round mock draft for the top 10 picks. Now, this is going to be a debate style draft. It's going to be me and Wheels picking the draft pick together. I wish there were people in chat because I would love to hear some conversation. But this is going to be a debate-style mock draft. So first on the board, all trades are welcome, which is going to be slightly exhausting because I'm probably going to nix every trade when it comes in. Oh, thank you for being here. Awesome. Good to see you in chat.
We have a Bears fan in the house.
That actually would be great to hear
right now.
Get to hear some conversation with you guys on Chicago. So, in the first pick overall is Chicago. Wheels, give me your thought process before we make a selection.
They're trading.
Okay, so you think that they're trading out of this pick?
They're trading either with New England, the Giants, or possibly I could see them trading with who's 10? Or not 10, 9.
No, I lost
who's
my
after,
mouse.
Who's after the Giants? Who's after the Giants? Oh, my God.
Jets.
I could see that.
So, I think that...
No, Atlanta. I could see them trading up with Atlanta.
I think at furthest, right, we're looking at
New England,
maybe
Atlanta.
Denver or Las Vegas at furthest, right?
Yeah. And that's going down past 10. So, but
yeah, that's going to take a lot because then you're dropping out of the top 10.
I think they trade with Atlanta.
So the reason why I don't like Atlanta, right, is because you're dropping outside of an area where if you are trading out of the top 1, you're losing what you want. Because the Chargers or Arizona would easily take your guy.
Oh, yeah.
So even the Giants, right, would easily take your guy.
But you could trade back up.
Now you're wasting the assets you got.
Not all of them. I don't think all of them.
I think you're wasting a good amount of what you got.
Let's do New England then.
I like New England and Washington to trade up for the spot, right? Because whoever's trading, they want their guy.
Yes.
Right? Now, my only issue with this trade, and a lot of people don't understand this, but my only issue with this trade, if you're Washington, right, is the only reason you're jumping to one is if somebody has the potential to jump in front of you. And then New England, you're only jumping over Washington. So it's a battle between those two teams, by the way, who notoriously don't trade in the first round.
And let's say Washington wants to trade up one pick. What are you trading? I'll give you my third.
Oh, you're trading. You're probably trading a first, and maybe you're definitely going to get more to get New England. But the only reason you would get more out of Washington is if they feel it's their guy.
But so let's go back to what you said. New England's been known not to trade.
Both of these teams notoriously don't trade picks.
Yeah, and let's go back to what you said farther. And if you drop out of a certain spot, you're not getting your guy. So what if Chicago stays there? Washington says, you know what? I think we're going to have our guy at 2 regardless. We're comfortable with not trading. And New England, I don't think they trade.
I agree.
Unless
and I think Ryan likes to say it's 1A, 1B for Caleb and Drake, right? So now I would argue one fits the system better than the other. But I think both of them have different systems. So I think they both aren't going after each other's quarterback.
No. And
that's just me personally.
I haven't even finished. I still have a little bit left to finish on quarterbacks. It's tough. I usually do 3 quarterbacks list. I do one right at the end of the season. I do another after the combine, and then I do one right before draft for my order. And that's kind of how we did it last year.
Bo, I'm gonna give Bo some conversation here. Jaden Daniels is in the mix for the national media. Jaden Daniels' highest upside is RG3. And I'm not trying to insult Jaden Daniels. What RG3 could have been, Jaden Daniels can be. But Jaden Daniels excels in extending the play, which doesn't always translate to the NFL. And Jaden Daniels has good receivers.
But the thing is with Jaden Daniels also give up on plays early to create mobility.
He leaves the pocket too soon,
is
your argument.
I don't like that. I don't like that in a quarterback in college because it does not, like you said, it does not bode well in the NFL. He's not a top 3 quarterback for me right now.
His upside's not Lamar. Lamar's upside was Lamar. Do remember that Lamar was hated and wasn't drafted till later. And all of a sudden, because they missed on Lamar, they're hyping up. No. RG3 is his ceiling. Trust me on this one, Kelly. I don't know how good you are with quarterbacks, but RG3 is his ceiling.
What do you say his floor is?
His floor? Well, that's why she's saying RG3 is his floor, because RG3 had no career in the NFL.
Who do you think his floor is?
His floor... I'll actually give it his backup. Lamar's backup. Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley. That's his floor.
Okay.
And that's not
Jason
bad.
Campbell. I don't hate that.
Jason Campbell. I mean, but floors are so, like, you could just pick, like,
it's
the
hard.
worst quarterbacks in the NFL and say, this is my floor.
The thing is with him, I don't think he creates more wins than the team might have. I think he'll add talent, but again, it goes back to I do not like quarterbacks that purposely leave the play or take slow progressions and want to go get yards, and they're taking it away from where you need to go get a first down, and they're taking hits. I just don't like it.
Kelly, there's 2 reasons why I don't like Jaden Daniels. Number 1 is the most obvious reason. Man, everybody knows this reason. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman going into the NFL. Go look up at the history of all Heisman winners that went into the NFL, and you find one in the last 20 years that has even done remotely anything. Lamar did not win the Heisman the year he came into the NFL.
It was the year before.
It was the year before. Which is the argument why Caleb Williams kind of sticks up there for me, because Caleb was supposed to win it this year and he didn't.
Here, we'll go through.
And then Joe Burrow did not win the Heisman. It was Chase Young. Chase Young won the Heisman that year.
Here's the list. So we're going to go back from this year. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Devonta Smith, Joe Burrow in 2019, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson in 2016 was drafted in 2018, Derrick Henry, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Johnny Manziel, RG3, Cam Newton, Mark Ingram, Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, Troy Smith, Reggie Bush.
So Cam Newton's probably your best argument at quarterback, right?
When was Burrow drafted? 2020, right?
It was a year after he won the Heisman because Chase Young won the Heisman the year that Joe Burrow got drafted. Because everybody was like, Joe Burrow should have won it, and then Chase Young ended up winning it.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, so, and that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not...
Joe Burrow won in 2020. Or Joe Burrow won...
No. It's a trend, all right? I said that's my number one most obvious argument. My number two argument is that, again, I don't like running quarterbacks, let alone in the top 5. Like... And I get that a majority of these quarterbacks are running quarterbacks. They are scrambling style quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels, to me, is not as elusive as Lamar, right? Lamar was super elusive and super slippery. Jaden Daniels isn't that.
No, Jaden Daniels is not. He doesn't have that strength. I think he gets knocked off.
Whoa, did you just... Oh, 6 of the Heisman Trophy winners are starting quarterbacks? Yeah, but 2 of those weren't in the year they got drafted. You would have to compare the year they got drafted.
Oh, so he was. It says 2019 on my list. Because Devontae won in 2020.
Okay, so that would be the one. Which I could have sworn Chase Young won it there, but I could be wrong. But he's made it. But he hasn't won anything. And Lamar hasn't either, though.
No, and he's injury prone.
Joe Burrow's injury prone, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's one of my biggest reasons. Like, and to be honest, we could look back a decade from now and neither of these guys could have ever won a bowl. Yeah. And then all they've had was good seasons and then never won a bowl. I'd say Cam Newton would be the best argument, right? Because Cam Newton made it to the Super Bowl.
Let's do Cam Newton as his ceiling and RG3 is his floor. For Jaden Daniels.
He's not that physical.
No, but I'm talking about talent, just talent-wise.
It's hard because...
He has a strong arm. He's accurate.
He does. And I would argue he's probably more along the lines of... It's a black quarterback, Donovan McNabb. He's but I just don't know. Like he's more elusive than McNabb, right? Like he's a little faster.
Elusive, but the problem is again, he's not as strong. McNabb was still a pphysical quarterback.
Right, he's a big guy. He was a big guy. Yeah.
People are saying that I'm really tired of hearing the Vic conversation with Jaden Daniels. I don't like it.
He's not Michael Vick.
No, he's not. I'm sorry, people are gonna hate to hear this. Lamar Jackson's better than Michael.
And I'm gonna be honest. If you say he's Michael Vick never won a ring.
Michael Vick, he didn't.
I don't even know if Vick ever won a title game.
I don't know.
Did he win one in Atlanta?
That's when I first started watching football, so...
I don't know if Vick ever won a title game.
Fan.
So I'm going to be honest, like, I don't know if I want Michael Vick as my quarterback. That's a stat guy, right? That's a guy that's all about stats and making stats for yourself. I need a guy that's going to build the team.
He's 2-4. Let me look at StatMuse.
2-4 in the playoffs?
Yeah, he's only been 6 times.
Oh, that's horrible.
He won a wild card game and he won a divisional game.
So he's been to 1 title game and he lost it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, so are we trading it for Chicago out of this spot back to the Patriots to jump Washington? Because that was your original argument.
No, I don't think Washington wants to trade more assets than they need to. I think regardless, they're going to get their guy. So I think Chicago stays.
It's funny because I completely agree with this.
The more I look at it, it just doesn't make sense for Washington. Why are you going to, like I said, the only thing I'm trading Chicago to move up 1 spot is a 3rd. That's all you're getting from me. I'm sorry, but I'm not giving up anything more than that. You want a 3rd? Be my guest. We'll swap first, but I'm not giving up anything more than that.
And they saw what Carolina did last year, and it was like, and mind you, Carolina I think jumped up like, was it 5 spots, 6 spots?
And let's be honest, Chicago's not drafting Caleb Williams.
I think ever since they hired their offensive coordinator, I can't remember his name, but it was Seattle's quarterbacks coach.
And
I know he's from Seattle.
And the thing
no, Seattle's OC. They hired Seattle's offensive coordinator in Chicago. Yes, Waldron. Thank you.
But we've seen this how many years? These teams that have the first round pick create this. Oh, this is the guy we like. Oh, this is the guy we like. Oh, and they're like, because they're baiting.
Oh, this is definitely smokescreen city.
Yeah, it is.
We're definitely in the smokescreen territory right now.
Put it down.
And just
in
an
the
FYI,
history books, it's gonna happen. They are not drafting Caleb Williams.
Kelly and Bo, I'll give you this one. Jaden Daniels will have the worst combine out of all 5 of those quarterbacks.
Okay, all 5.
Worst combine. I said 5.
Okay.
I included the other 2.
I think.
And that's if Caleb Williams goes to the combine. He might just do his pro day.
And cry.
We don't know. All right, so we're going to take Marvin Harrison?
Obviously, we're
going to take Marvin Harrison to Chicago right here at 1 overall. All right, I probably should hit play. Is there a play button?
There should be.
Oh, it's at the top. On my phone, it's at the bottom. All right, so we're taking Marvin Harrison 1 overall. All right, Washington. Now, we're going quarterback here, right?
Yeah, so
now,
there's 2, possibly 3 quarterbacks I like.
Who fits the system now that we know who just got hired?
Let's say who doesn't fit.
OC got hired, right?
Bo Nix does not fit the system. Jane Daniels does not fit the system. The 3 that fit the system for me are Michael Penix, Drake May, and Caleb Williams.
They're all different quarterbacks. Caleb Williams and yeah, they're all different quarterbacks. They're all different quarterbacks.
They are.
Okay.
I'm saying my eyes
Now,
and what fits the system. It's not Bo Nix and it's not Jane Daniels.
So first things first.
I don't as much as I like Penix and he's high on my list. I don't think he goes.
Ben Johnson's the head coach now, right?
Yes, Ben.
Okay, so keep that in mind.
They're going Drake May.
Really?
They're going Drake May. I do. I think they're.
Wow.
Going Drake May. With Ben Johnson, they're going Drake May.
You think?
I do. I don't like North Carolina quarterbacks. I don't.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with that.
I'm not saying this is the right pick, but I don't.
You think Ben Johnson, Drake May fits Ben Johnson better than Caleb Williams?
Yes, I do because I just.
All right, no. I'm not even going to argue with this one because I like the change of pace here.
Yeah, but who Ben Johnson was? The
Detroit.
Detroit, yeah. So pocket passer.
Pocket passer. I agree. I don't disagree with you.
Is the most pocket passer, in my opinion, out of these 3 guys that are listed right there. Caleb,
Jaden, and
Jaden.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. That's funny. I think it's funny because I was going to say the same thing. Keep that in mind. So now
the pocket passers are making a comeback a little bit in the NFL. Right?
This fits the presser right here. This is where your boy Jaden Daniels goes. To New England. It fits the presser.
I don't like it, but I think oh God, it hurts. It hurts.
Does it fit the presser?
No.
Gerard Mayo, you're the most racist coach in the NFL right now. They're both black, right? Caleb and Jaden are both black. Yes. But I think at this point, I think he cares about trophies, right? So he's like, I'm taking my Heisman guy.
I don't like him with the England.
And if he thinks he has Lamar Jackson at quarterback, which is what Kelly said, right? Like that's his ceiling is Lamar.
His ceiling is not Lamar. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not a 2-time MVP winning, possibly Super Bowl winning quarterback. It's just not. It's not his ceiling. It's not. Oh God.
His ceiling is RG3 for me, and it's RG3 when RG3 was coming out of college, not RG3 what he did in the NFL.
His ceiling's RG3. His floor is Malik Cunningham.
I'm not opposed to that. Malik was good, though. Malik didn't have a bad season.
No, sorry, not Malik Cunningham. Who's Malik Willis? Sorry.
Malik. Yeah. That's a good floor. I think Malik Willis did not win a Heisman and only had 1 good game and got drafted off the Senior Bowl.
The Senior Bowl.
When does that play? That should be coming up soon, right? Maybe. It's before the Super Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's after. I thought.
Maybe you're right.
No, it's like
after Super Bowl, before Combine.
It's like March.
We'll have to take a look at that. I forgot when the Senior Bowl was.
It's either late February or early March. Can't remember.
All right.
So New England.
We're gonna take Caleb Williams here, right?
Do they?
100%.
They have to because they're done with Mac Jones. This head coach.
Well, I don't know about that either because I've heard
this head coach didn't draft Mac Jones.
I have heard some front office rumors that Mac Jones, they still believe in him.
So then you draft Brock Byers.
No. You have 3 tight ends on your roster.
Hey, They love tight ends in New England.
Yeah, but Bill loved tight ends. Keep that in mind. Bill loved them. He didn't draft them. He bought them.
And Bill hasn't really, when he was with New England, he didn't draft offensive weapons well.
I think it has to be Caleb Williams, right?
I don't like either of them here, but give me Caleb because he's more talented.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, right, Kelly? I have this argument with Ryan all the time. I agree with you. I don't think they pass on this quarterback class, even though I think it's overhyped, personally. I don't think they pass on a quarterback in this class. But my only issue with this is when a quarterback is taken in the top 5, that's your stab in the dirt that this is my guy.
You can't have
and
him
you
sit.
Die on that hill ASAP.
You can't have him sit. The Browns tried that. It didn't work out.
So I just think if you draft Caleb Williams in this spot, number 3 overall, I think you're ready to die on the Caleb Williams hill. And I don't think Jaden Daniels, you can die on that hill. I think you can with Caleb. I think Caleb, you can go, while he was the most overhyped quarterback in the NFL history,
I don't know. I think
just didn't pan out.
He's up there with T-Law with being hyped up.
I think he's beyond T-Law.
Really?
All right, yeah.
Okay, let's go Caleb.
We're going to go Caleb here to New England.
Yeah.
All right, now this is a fun one.
I like Michael Penix, but I don't want him going to New England. It doesn't fit.
I don't think, it doesn't fit. Does not, no air raid offense there.
Right,
no way.
so
West Coast offense.
Now is the question of this team needs they need edge, they need wide receiver, and they need corner.
I disagree with the wide receiver comment. I think they can get wide receiver in the offseason, and they can sign Marquise Brown if they really wanted to.
Now, corner.
Marquise Brown is UFA for all you guys out there that don't know that.
I like Cooper DeJean, but I don't know if he goes 4.
I don't think you could take a corner in the top 10 in this class.
Really? I think Cooper DeJean's like a top 5 pick.
I think you have to go D end or D tackle for them. I think probably edge because D end or edge because of the position you're at. You're at 4.
So we're edges. Let's go to edges. The problem is who do you feel is the true number 1 edge right now? Prospect-wise, before end of season, we have yet to see.
True number 1?
I think it's Latu.
The only issue, Kelly. The only issue, Kelly, with getting him more weapons in this position is Marvin Harrison's off the board. You can wait on a lot of these guys. You have a draft pick later, or you can trade up.
Neighbors is going to go to Tennessee. So that's okay.
And I don't think they need Neighbors, right? Because you have Michael Wilson, who's probably not equivalent, but probably has the same kind of route scheme and stuff like that.
Neighbors is very good, but they need to shore up their defense. Their defense was god awful last year. You can get some guys.
It wasn't god awful.
It was.
Josh Gannon did a great job with that defense.
You need more help on the defensive than you do the offense. Kyler can do fine.
I agree. I think with Kyler out there,
it's a lot harder to find a good D-end in free agency than it is to find a
And
good
Kelly, don't forget to look at the UFAs this offseason for wide receiver. There's a lot. They can go pay T. Higgins. They can pay Marquise Brown. They can pay even Mike Evans is a UFA, right, for 1 year as a guy. They also have the Curtis Samuel is a UFA. Like, there are guys that they can add to this roster in the offseason.
So I'm going Latu. I don't know if you like him. He's my number 1.
So I think right now Jared Verse might be my number 1. But Latu is really good. They're probably my 1 and 2. I'm gonna do more research. I also like Braylon Trice out of Washington.
I like Latu. I'm sorry.
But I'll agree with you. I think Latu is probably, when you look at the hype, when you look at how fast he is, when you look at his ability, and I think he fits their scheme if they run a 3 defensive ends, right? Or 3 D-line, which they do sometimes. I think that fits their scheme. So I like Latu here.
Okay, let's go Latu.
And I think they definitely go defensive, mainly because head coach is Josh Gannon. He's a defensive head coach. I think he knows to shore up the trenches first. And then I wouldn't be shocked if they went best O-lineman, to be honest with you. They got Paris Johnson last year, right? And then you go get a right tackle. Boom. Kyler's protected.
Right tackle or left?
What did Paris play last year?
Left. So right tackle.
So right tackle.
The kid out of Oregon State.
Yeah. So, and you go anybody in this draft, which is why I think you wait, right? Like, which is why I think you
well,
wait.
the kid out of Notre Dame, he's a for sure left tackle.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
He is the only for sure left tackle that I can, as of right now, saying he's the only left tackle that I see being a top left tackle in this draft is Joe Alt.
All right.
Let's go. So
This will be a fun one. Chargers, right?
Well,
so they lose.
They lose.
They lose Evan Ingram.
Brock.
No, not Evan Ingram. Why did I say Evan Ingram? They lose. Is it Evan Ingram?
Donald Parham. No, not Evan Ingram.
It's the other guy. Why did I say Evan Ingram? Evan Ingram's the dude over.
Oh my gosh. I know what you're talking about. Hold on.
Well, they lose him. They lose tight ends this year, like substantially. They have a very old wide receiver at 31 years old, right? You have a Mike Williams who I'm hoping he comes back, but bad injury last year. Injury took him out this year.
Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett. Yeah, you lose Gerald Everett. I think he's a UFA. So you lose Gerald Everett. Donald Parham, I think, has to be signed. I think they need a tight end. I think they need weapons.
Either need a tight end or D-line.
But this is a rough situation, right? Because if you go Harbaugh, I think Harbaugh can work with the defense, and he knows that he has to fix the offense.
And there's no running back you're taking this early in this draft. I don't know.
Correct.
I don't think there's a running back in the top 20 that you're taking.
There's also UFAs at running back that you can do for the time being.
Joe Mixon.
I swear to God, oh my God, I didn't even think about it. If he takes Blake Corum this high, he's insane.
He's not taking Blake. Blake has been beat up every year.
But he knows how to use him.
You're not taking. Don't even say he's not.
It's his team though, right?
You're taking defense. Or you're taking Brock Bowers.
I agree. I think you're going to... it's too high for linebacker, right? Way too high for linebacker.
You needed some defensive lineman, whether it's tackle or an edge.
I think you need an edge, or I think you need an offensive weapon. Now, if Malik Neighbors is this good, do you draft Malik Neighbors here? Because you know he's going to be gone in the next 3 picks.
Because Quentin Johnson was a bust that we called last year?
Well, that's the question. I don't know if he thinks
Quentin Johnson is.
But Harbaugh might not. He might not think he's a bust.
Quentin Johnson's not number one.
I just think you're paying Keenan Allen a lot of money, and you need to move on from him eventually.
That's who they were trying to draft with Quentin Johnson was Keenan Allen, and it did not work out. It did not. Quentin Johnson is not good.
I think you have to.
That cannot.
I agree, Bo. I think you have to give Kellen Moore a weapon to use at the pass game.
And he's a good blocker. He's a good blocker on run plays.
And they need offensive line help, right?
So you can leave him in there as an extra alignment.
So he's on the field 80% of the time, and Donald Parham comes in on 2 tight end stretches.
Let's take Bowers.
I like it. I like Brock Bowers here. I like it.
Now, this is a team that needs a wide receiver.
So let's look at those top 5 right now because it's interesting. So the top 5, you got Marvin Harrison, Chicago. Nobody's traded, which, to be honest, it's very hard to do trades because you have to know value of the trade. And I think if anybody's going to trade, it's going to be New England up to 1 to jump Washington to take Caleb Williams.
And I'm asking for 2 firsts from New England.
Yeah.
Because know they're going to get him.
And then you got Drake May going to Washington at 2, which kind of threw me a curveball. But since we found out the hiring of the OC or the head coach today, was it Ben Johnson?
Ben Johnson.
That fits for us. Caleb Williams going 3, next best quarterback off the board according to the rankings. We got a defense or an edge rusher going to Arizona, and then we got Brock Bowers going to the Chargers. I love these fits so far. I actually really like this draft.
This is going to be tough.
All right, the New York Giants, right?
I want to go tackle. I want to go tackle so bad.
I want to go tackle so bad, too, because consistently they do this. But they need a weapon, too.
This is a trade. The Jets are trading up. They're going to get Joe Alt. Jets are going to trade to get Joe Alt. At this spot.
So you say
the Jets are trading up with the Giants to get Joe Alt right here. If you see Joe Alt, make it the 6.
You say the Giants are dropping. Why wouldn't the Giants take Joe Alt?
Then
they need a left tackle.
Well, it's either Joe Alt or it's everybody who loves Fashua. Or what are they? Fashanu, sorry. I'm not good with names.
Oluwayiwa Fashanu.
Olu?
Yeah, everybody calls him Olu.
And I'm sorry, but
Olu
is not a good left tackle.
It's just kind of crazy here.
The Jets are trading up. You have to win.
No, so here's
you
what
need
here's what I
offensive
would
line help now, and I know the Giants do.
Here's
too.
what I would
know
say.
they do.
Here's what I would say. I think if the Jets are going to trade up, they would trade up to 5 to get Joe Alt.
Okay, so
How often do trades happen to get left tackles though?
if you know he's your guy. Joe Alt. I'm sorry, but Joe Alt is the guy.
I don't know if they can afford that. They're happy they got a first round pick, right? Because Aaron Rodgers was out.
They don't have a second, so that's what I'm saying. You have to draft your left tackle here.
But you don't have a second to give up. So like that, now if you're the
Chargers, sell your soul for a Super Bowl like the Rams did?
No, the Rams sold their souls for a Super Bowl for a proven guy.
Joe Alt's proven. And I know he hasn't played the NFL, but this kid.
I'll strongly disagree with you.
He's the most polished left tackle I have seen in the last 3 years.
And that's fine. And that's fine. I'm not disagreeing with that. I just strongly disagree with the process of drafting. I think if the Giants, who by the way have horrible offensive line play, and they need to protect.
Because the problem
then
is
the Giants take Joe Alt.
Then we'll do
That's what I'm saying.
I'm fine with that. Like I said, but
here's what I'll caveat is if the Jets are going to trade for this, they're trading to 5, not 6.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Brock Bowers will be there all the way to 10 if they Chargers trade out. Who's going to take Brock Bowers? Chicago's not. They have Cole Kmet.
Tennessee's not.
Right? Atlanta's not. They have 2 tight ends. They have Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Tennessee's the only team.
We should have traded.
Tennessee's the only team I see possibly taking a tight end.
Let's just not do trades. It makes it too hard. So Joe Alt's going here.
All right, we'll go Joe Alt to the Giants. I'm not opposed to this. I prefer them get a wide receiver, but I'm not opposed to it. So Tennessee Titans, do they still have DeAndre Hopkins on the roster?
This is where Neighbors goes all day.
Well, now that I Brock Bowers is gone, right? Now that, which I think they needed Brock Bowers. Tennessee, Joe Alt's gone. I think, I agree. I think everything kind of falls into place if Tennessee might trade out of this spot. This is where the Jets could jump, right? Chicago needs O-line. This is where the Jets could jump to. But I don't want to just kind of constantly harp on this. But this is where the Jets could jump to.
I don't think they do because the Titans need to get wide receivers. They need to get their guy and
Malik Neighbors. All these guys right here, right? Like when you look at Malik Neighbors, when you look at Fashanu, and then you look at McKinstry, right? When you look at these 3 positions, like corner, I would argue that Jerzon Newton, who's an interior defensive lineman.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
There's some really good players here, but
I forgot his name was Kool-Aid.
Does Tennessee need a corner here? I think you're right. I think it's Malik Neighbors. I don't want to argue off.
It's Malik Neighbors. I'm sorry, but they shit the bed with trading A.J. Brown and then drafting the kid out of
Treylon Burks.
Okay, so Atlanta. This is interesting because the quarterback is there.
Let's assume Bill Belichick is going there.
This right here is 2 quarterbacks. One you don't like, one we both really like is...
Don't put we both in here. I just said I have... His comp is very good, but it's not winning.
I like Bo Nix, but I don't think you like him here. I like Bo Nix here.
I don't know if I like Bo Nix under it Bill Belichick.
Okay, then what do you like? Michael Penix? Because they're the only 2.
I don't know if I like Penix under Belichick.
It's not Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to be honest.
It's not Jaden Daniels.
I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's Bill. If it's Bill, I wouldn't be shocked they did. I wouldn't be shocked they drafted offensive lineman here.
Our offensive line's not bad.
It's not good. They run more than anybody.
No, they didn't. Arthur Smith doesn't run.
But
he didn't.
I'm going to be honest. I think they need a wide receiver.
Really?
You got Mac Hollins as your third.
All right, well, go to wide receivers. Let the people see.
Let the people see.
Because there's 3 guys that they can take here.
It's a reach for everybody that's not Rome Odunze.
Keon Coleman, I don't see it. It's either Troy Franklin or Rome. Those are the only 2 that I see. Rome, I feel like That's early for Rome.
right? So here's where I'd see.
Or not Rome, sorry. That's early for Troy.
Here's where I would see your trade. Right?
Atlanta. Or the Jets.
Denver.
Jets for a quarterback.
Over Minnesota, over the Jets, over Chicago.
Okay, so what are you giving up? You're going to give me 2 firsts. You're giving me
And if it's not Denver, it's Las Vegas. I just don't know if Antonio Pierce is willing to trade for a quarterback.
It's Denver. Sean
Oh,
Payton
hold on. This in, just breaking. I forgot to let all y'all know that Tom Telesco, the Chargers GM, took a job for the Raiders as their GM.
Okay.
So he knows Justin Herbert. Is this a place you trade up to if you're the Raiders to jump Minnesota, Denver, the Jets, Chicago?
No.
You don't think so?
If any team jumps here, Minnesota's running it back with Kirk. I said that after the injury. They're not drafting a wide receiver or a quarterback.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that.
Denver's really the only team I see here.
It's Denver or the Raiders. You think the Raiders can live with Aiden O'Connell?
I think there's more to fix than the quarterback right now, and they need to fix it. Denver is close. They need a quarterback.
Well,
Oakland's defense.
So right now,
the Raiders' defense is awful.
No, it's not. I mean, the secondary's not good. Secondary's not
I
good.
was about to say their secondary.
The secondary's not good.
Their secondary is about as good as a high school team. Come on,
But
their secondary is bad.
But the front office of the Chargers just became the front office of the Raiders.
They're not taking a quarterback here. The Denver's taking.
All right, I want to put that caveat in there. I see them trading up for a quarterback.
Okay, so
But if we're disagreeing with the trade aspect of things, right? Because I knew this was going to happen. That's why I kind of don't like doing trades, because me and you were going to argue almost every trade. Who do we have Atlanta taking at 8? We got like 2 more picks to do. It's taking us 45 minutes to get 7 picks in.
Atlanta takes. You want a wide receiver. I want a quarterback. You don't think they draft a quarterback?
I mean, if Bill, right? We're assuming Bill, right?
We're assuming Bill.
If Bill drafts a quarterback, who does he draft?
Bo Nix.
Okay, so
and it's not because he's white. It's just because Bo Nix fits.
Okay, you see me scrolling down this list?
That's fine. Scroll down that list.
29. Is that not a reach at this point?
Not in my eyes, no. It's not a reach.
No. Okay, I like to play off of potentials, right? So if you're going for a guy who's ranked in the top 29, now mind you, it's this ranking for this website. Do you reach for a quarterback?
This ranking is god awful. J.J. McCarthy's 31. So NFL database is just, there's no way. Put in Bo Nix. Pencil it in.
All right, we're going Bo Nix to Atlanta.
I know you don't hate this.
I don't hate it. All right, Chicago.
Bo Nix will not be in this.
Chicago had a wide receiver, and I think this is where they go offensive line.
Bo Nix will not be in the second, Kelly. He's a first-round pick.
Correct.
Everybody said the same thing about Justin
Kelly,
Herbert.
I will 100% agree with you. I think Bo Nix is a late first, early second guy, and if you're going to trade, you're going to trade back into the first round to get a guy like this. I don't disagree with you, Kelly.
I like Bo Nix at Atlanta.
I understand it, but the world doesn't like him.
That's fine. That's not way too early.
I need to know what Kelly's been looking at, because I agree with her. By the way, I'm going to give this comp on air because it's exhausting holding this back. My comp for Bo Nix and Wheels is, we're going to get to see his reaction because he knows it and hates it at the same time.
They haven't told me your comp.
Is Marcus Mariota.
That's right. No, it's not Marcus. He has way more of an arm, Marcus. He's more accurate than Marcus. He doesn't run out of the pocket nearly as much as Marcus.
Oh, are you kidding me? His success came from him leaving the pocket. He is absurdly fast for a white guy.
That's racist.
Nope, it's accurate. Absurdly fast.
Bo
And
Nix.
he, by the way, that would be my only agreement with you, is that he's got a better gun. But I would argue the accuracy is there for both of them. But he does have a very powerful arm for a running quarterback.
I love Bo Nix here.
And by the way, and the reason why I tell you this all the time, Mariota won a playoff game. Don't knock Mariota.
Bo Nix will have a better career than Jaden Daniels.
I would argue they probably have the same career. I'm just saying. All right, so Chicago, right? At this position, at 9, they already got their wide receiver.
You're taking edge, or you're taking.
You're not taking edge with the paying of Montez Sweat this offseason.
Right. They did trade for Montez Sweat.
I think it's got to.
Then you're going O-line.
I think it's got to be Olumuyiwa Fashanu because they don't need a left tackle.
It's not. It's.
I mean, they do need a left tackle.
Fagua. The kid out of Oregon State. He's my number 2.
Do they have left tackle on here? There it is.
There it is.
Talisi Fuaga. Yeah. I actually like Latham better. And I also like Futanu out of Washington.
Talisi's my number 2 behind Joel.
I'll give you that. I'll let it happen. I don't think he plays the same. And I also would argue that Chicago has a habit of not picking the right lineman.
And this is where we see Olu go.
You would.
It's either
Jets
Olu,
have to go
it's either
O-line.
Olu or it's Troy.
And I'm gonna be honest. With you. If neither of these teams traded up, one of these teams is trading over the other to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'll go with the Olu. All right. So as of right now, because I don't have any really good way to look at this. Yeah, I don't have a good way to look at this. We have, in the first overall position, we have Marvin Harrison. We have Drake May to Washington. Caleb Williams, New England. We have Latu to Arizona, the edge. We have Brock Bowers to the Chargers. We have Joe Walt to the Giants. Malik Neighbors to Tennessee. We have Bo Nix to Atlanta. We have Fuaga to Chicago, the left tackle. And Olumuyiwa Fashanu to the Jets. We have 3 offensive linemen in the top 10. We have 3 quarterbacks in the top 10. And then we have 2 wide receivers and 1 tight end.
And I could see McKinstry or Cooper DeJean going to Minnesota.
And 1 edge. So there's only 1 edge in the top 10.
I know we're not doing it, but McKinstry or DeJean's.
So that one's for all of you guys out there. We gotta head out of here today. It's a little longer of a show because we like to argue, and I knew it was going to be a debate format of a draft because me and Wheels really haven't seen each other's mocks by ourselves yet. So that being said, Wheels, give me your takeaways for today.
Bo Nix is a top 10 pick.
All right. That's how simple his takeaways have been lately. They're one-liners that are very poor.
They are. Poor to you is not poor to me. Bo Nix is a top 10.
Bo Nix is back in. Did you just mute me? Dude, he just muted me.
This is CNN.
Bo Nix is a back-end first-round pick.
He's not.
Make some picks for our league. Oh, Bo wants me to make picks for our league. I have to cut that up. Bo, I will do that Friday night at 8 p.m. I will make it. I'll do it to start the show for our league for all you guys. All right. I know you guys are really anxious to see those picks. So, but that being said, I hope that everybody has a wonderful week. We will be back here Friday. We're probably going to have some more off-season talk. And then we're probably going to get into other things for the Sunday games. That being said, I hope y'all have a wonderful day and peace out. Hey, toodles.
Don't end it. Breaking news. Hold on.
Not too breaking if you turned your phone off.
This is from Ryan. He sent it in the group chat. Give me 2 seconds. He said that Jim Harbaugh is officially with the Chargers.
Oh, that's not breaking. That's not breaking for me and you.
Harbaugh officially with the Chargers.
We literally said when they declined Atlanta's second pick that obviously. All right. That being said, I love you, Bo. I'll make them Friday night. Peace out, guys. Take it easy.